Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Coffee Talk Supplemental. Good afternoon. It's Wednesday afternoon, and I've got a little video here talking about the second phase of the art of strategy. I made a statement in my first video, when we didn't know all the information that we know now, that I found it hard to believe that the strategist would have a chance against 7 humans. I was wrong. We're going to talk about that, and I've got a replay for you. We'll see how it develops. It's early. Oftentimes in these modes, people don't really know what to do at the beginning, and the people get better as they go. Of course, the strategist will do that as well. I'm going to give you the reasons why the humans may be in trouble or can be in trouble in these games. And I really thought it would be a wipe, that the strategist would get crushed by the humans. I mean, they're all humans, but you're the human team of 7, the tankers. Anyway, we're going to get to that. I'm still shaking my head from last night's shenanigans. Anyway, we're going to go to the art of strategy because there's a couple things to talk about here. I think it's still possible, if you haven't started, to finish this event, but the shadows are long, right? The day is getting old. The game is in the 4th quarter. You're really going to have to play a bit. I think it's well more than a casual play at this point. Because as you remember, you're going to need, if you see right here, I've got 13 of the 18 that I need. You were able to get 10 at the beginning as a strategist for free, back when you did not have to use orders to play a game as a strategist 1v1. And as you did that, you could build up a bunch of intel to play a strategist in the 1v7. So there's 2 versions of strategist. So it was a free ride for 5 days, and that is all over now. So the problem now you're going to run into, if you haven't built up some of these points, the 13 of 18, we'll take a look at that. Take a look at that graphic in just a second when we get there. The problem you're going to run into is you need these orders and things. You can play the tanker for free, which means you can do 2 of those missions a day. So we're going to the 5th. Let's just do the math quickly. Counting today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. That is 16 if you only played the tanker. So you're going to need to come up with enough of these things, either intel or orders, to play enough strategists to get a couple more points. Now the tanker points are pretty easy in terms of this. Let's click on that really quickly. What I'm talking about is this chart down here. My camera's in the way as always. It goes from 0 to 18, so you're looking to get those 2,500 bonds. So what I'm saying is you still have a chance to get 16 of those very easily. And I think as you play 16 times as a tanker, and actually you're going to have to play a little bit more because I'll talk about the points you need in a second. As you play the tanker, you're going to build up plenty of orders and intel to play either one of the strategist versions, 1v1 or 1v7. I still think it's extremely easy to get this done, even if you started today. It's just going to be a little trickier. You didn't get the free ride if you hadn't been playing. For me, I'm already at 13. I've got all kinds of days left. It'll be 2 days and I'll be done with this thing and have my 2,500 bonds. So if you want those 2,500, and I really enjoyed this right here, the 20 plus 50%, that was fantastic. I don't know why it went from 6 to 12 with nothing in between. Wargaming, you're killing me with this stuff. Anyway, the rewards are not bad, especially in terms of, when I talked a little bit about this last time, in terms of time to value of the reward is pretty good. And when you have a really good reward, they generally it's going to cost you more time and effort, air quotes effort. But sometimes the mode is so bad that that's very painful. This is actually, in my opinion, a pretty good mode, pretty fun. It has some limitations. There's plenty of things we can talk about as far as trying to improve it, but every game has limitations. And in terms of how relatively easy it is, it's kind of a casual gameplay, and it's enjoyable to me. So you guys let me know. I've already heard from a bunch of you, and a lot of people are like, no, it's garbage, don't want to play it. You win by not playing it, all that stuff. I don't know. I'm going to show you a tanker video here in a second. And I think I covered everything I wanted to cover here. Oh, right, the missions. Let's get into this, because what we did not know on my last video was how this was going to work, and it's basically the same. It's pretty easy, and it doesn't break it down, but I think you're getting 60 points or so for a win and 40 for a loss as a tanker. It's somewhere in that region. It simply did not take me that long. I'll count up the number of battles I did last night to get my 4 points, and I'll let you know when we get to the video there, because I haven't done that yet. You get some money if you're in the top 5. You win a battle, you get 50,000 as a strategist. That actually went down. Was that not 85,000 at one point? Did they change that? Maybe it was a different number that was 85. I could have swore that was 85,000, but maybe it was something else. So I have played total 49 battles. Sorry, 50 battles it looks like. Wait a minute. Math in public. Math is hard. 44, 45. Woo! 45 battles in 6 days. So 45 divided by 6, that's how many I've played. A couple hours of Art of Strategy. Not too bad. I'm nowhere near the leaderboard. Let's see where we are in the leaderboard. Somebody else is kind of taking a lead at 1042 right there. These are new names. I don't recognize any of these guys as being... Oh, wait a minute. That's Tanker. We have a new leaderboards up now. Yeah, Turtle Hermit is still there, so I do recognize some of those names. Now we have a Tanker leaderboard, and we have a Strategist 1v7 leaderboard. So you can kind of work through those. I'm not worried about the leaderboard. You would have to have been playing from the very beginning to make that happen. And so if you're watching this video, you probably know most everything that's on this video if you're already on a leaderboard. I was able to play my Mana Core. We're going to talk about that. All right. So we'll go to the replay. Remember, I think you can still get it done. You can get 16, I believe, in the next 8 days or so, just by playing as a tanker. You're going to have to get enough orders or intel, whichever side, and I guarantee you're going to have enough to play 5, 6, 7 of those games, maybe, and knock out at least another 2 points in order to get the 2,500 bonds. And then you can stop doing it if you don't like it. All right, let's take a look at that replay and why I am. Anyway, we'll save it for the replay. Holy cow. I did not go up and count it up, obviously, because I played 45. We found that in the records as far as how many games I had played. This is one of the later games as I was playing as a tanker. So I played a couple before. I played VZ55 and a couple other tanks, and I decided to try the Mana Core just for giggles. Before we get into this game, though, and the reason why the humans have a little bit of trouble, let's talk a little bit about how the whole thing started, because it was interesting to me that there was little information on the exact mechanics of the point system. And I think a lot of people may have really got behind by not understanding that free-to-play time at the beginning was hugely important. Now, as I said, this is about halfway through, and you can still, a little bit less, right around halfway through, you can still get it done. So it's really not that difficult, but it would have been kind of nice for the player base to understand that, hey, you know, you want to get a head start on this thing. And I sort of suspected that when I did the video. I said, hey, look, it's free right now. You really needed to be doing this. But it was very clear now when you take a look at how you get the orders and stuff. A win gets you some of each, but it's not, I haven't won over 100. It's been 60, 70, 80, that kind of thing. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I wish Wargaming would have been a little more clear. I don't know if that was by design, or they just didn't think about it, or they didn't think it was important. It's hard to tell. All right, let's take a look at this now. The humans. Oh, man. I did note in the last video that I said the humans are probably going to roll up the strategist, and the strategist will have very little chance, except for the fact that you are still dealing with pubs, meaning that it's just all the random players out there. Break. Another thing I didn't know, you have to have a tier 10 in your garage to play as a player. I thought it would just open up all the tanks that were available and you just pick one, but you can see that it's my Mana Core with my setup on it. So it's your tier 10s that you're going to play as a player. That's unfortunate. It doesn't seem to be any rentals. I went over to my EU account, tried to play as a player, and it's like, sorry, dude, you don't have a tier 10. I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. I wish it wasn't like that. Would be okay, Mocha. Yeah, keep scratching. I wish they would have thrown a couple rentals out there for players to play, but they didn't. All right. Players. You get what you get, and you don't fuss a bit, my friends. The players you get and the tanks that you get. Now, I'm not necessarily helping out my team, and that's going to be a problem here with the Mana Core, because, as you know, the Mana Core only has 20 rounds. I ran out of ammo in another game that we won. My last damage I got was running over a rocket launcher, so I rammed it. By the way, you can ram that stuff, just so you know. Rocket launcher only has 100 hit points, so it doesn't really hurt the old Mana Core or an AT gun. I don't know what the pillboxes or the machine guns do in terms of damage, or whether you can actually run those over. I believe you can. All right, so the Mana Core, a bit of a gimp. You will notice that we're also gimped by an Arty player. Oh, okay, Artie players. You know, I love you guys. I really do. Why is the Artie player... Why does Notorious Amarak have his name up, but why does the VZ55 not have his name up? Is he anonymous? Is that what that means? I've never noticed that before. This guy does not have a name showing. This one does. And the VZ does not have a name showing. It's possible those are the anonymous guys. Is that mode specific or is that always? I don't know. Anyway, very strange. If you know what's going on there, let me know down below. There must be something I'm missing on that. So Artie players are playing Artie. You also notice that up at the top, I'm going to put it where it's a little bit easier to read. Top right up here. Get the mouse onto the screen so you can see it here. There it is. Up here he's got 2 turrets, 4 AT guns, and 4 flamethrowers. Or he can have 2 MRLs. Whatever he sets up. So if you were playing the 1v1, the human strategist gets twice as much defensive stuff. And that is making a difference. That's tricky. I'll tell you that on one game, this very map, not this one, but we had a Kranwagen. And we'll get into what the humans should do, which is basically more or less all go together and get her done, which they don't do. Well, he went off to the right and headed over here to the west side. And then proceeded to farm 6,900 damage. And I went, holy cow. We lost the game, but wow, I didn't realize he'd done so much damage. And I looked at what tanks were left, and I'm thinking, well, how did we lose when a Kranwagen did 6,900 damage? Anybody want to guess? I think some of you already know. Then I looked a little bit closer, and it was all damage over 300 meters. Well, that's interesting. Every single point of it. Well, he's got good aim, got good RNG, did a lot of damage to tanks. He didn't shoot tanks, not one. The structures, when they are lit, stay lit. So you can shoot them from anywhere as long as you've got line of sight and draw distance to draw them. They stay lit. So you can sit back there in your Kranwagen over 300 meters and shoot at the enemy structures until you have 6,900 damage to structures and lose the game anyway. Whoo, that's a lot of fun. Okay. Humans, they're going to bring the tanks they bring. I have a mana core, not great for the team. We have an Artie. It is a longer wait because you have to wait for the strategist to get his stuff put together. That is a little bit annoying. We'll just fast forward to this. And I want you to watch the deployment. So extra defensive structures, humans doing human stuff, and then the standard pub thing where everybody hairs off in a million directions. Well, I'm a Manicore. I want to go up the middle. I learned a lesson earlier to not go too deep because of watchtowers. Although, to be honest, I didn't pay attention to this because this guy doesn't have watchtowers. I went too far with a guy who had watchtowers, and he saw me pretty early, and that was a problem. So I'm going to just come up here and see what we can see. Take a quick look. Are we seeing anybody? No. Okay, their VZ55 is over there. What on earth? What is happening here? The bat chat goes over there. 3 heavies are headed that way. There's a heavy in the middle, and me, the scout. You'll notice we don't have any mediums. Other than the bat chat, of course. And I'm going to bail. I just wanted to see if I could maybe catch something. The bat chat was seen, obviously, and there goes a bunch of shots in from the 2 turrets. The VZ's pushing in, and I kind of come around this way with the IS-7 and the 277. Look at the VZ-55. That's our VZ-55. Straight up the middle. I'm watching this going, well, that doesn't seem great, but he's not getting jumped on. I don't want to go fight a mouse. I don't think I can take on the VZ-55 with only the bat chat. I'm just flabbergasted now. I'm sitting here going, I don't really know what we're supposed to do. We have 3 guys on one side. 1 guy went straight up the middle. 1 medium tank all the way over on the other side. I mean, it's fine for the bat chat to do that, but we only have 1 Artie. We don't have any defensive structures to do any, bombing from the turret or MRLs or anything. Only he has all that stuff. So you can see shots just going out. There, the AT gun takes a poke at me. Thank goodness it bounced. Now I'm going to waste a shot on this gun. I do this a couple times because I'm not really thinking that hard about my ammo. But I do get rid of the AT gun. Unfortunately, that's a whole 100 damage in one shell. So 1/5 of my shells just went down, right? Or sorry, 5% of my shells, not 1/5. Math is hard. So this VZ's sort of taking on this Badger, and I'm thinking, whatever, let's just get in here and do human stuff, right? Because we're humans, and largely it's AI controlling these things, we should have an advantage unless the player comes over here and starts running the Badger. Now look at the flamethrowers, because this guy has so many of them, they're just absolutely crushing us. Put a shot on him. He's just, look at it, just eating the VZ, just crushing. Well, look at that. The dude just lost 2/3 of his hit points. So I'm just going to keep fighting the Badger here. Missed a shot. That was rushed. I wanted to stay away from the flamethrower. Didn't want to go into the flamethrower, and we'll bail out this way. I see that there's a Foch over here, and I bail out of that. Don't want to get killed by the Foch. I got to get out of here, and down goes our VZ. Right, guy just YOLO'd up the middle. Tried to help him a little bit. Things did not go well. We're getting out of here. Foch be autoloader. So he's camping a Badger. He sent a couple heavies, he being the strategist, a couple heavies over to the west side. We are working on them. Here comes a bunch of shots in from the turrets. Batchat's over here trying to get reloaded. And I'm going to come over here and take a look. There's a 430 and I think a VZ55 that was seen over here. So I'm kind of curious if the strategist is going to try to push us. He knows our heavies are busy over in the corner, and there's just a light tank, an arty, and a Batchat. So we'll just grab this bush, take a quick look. I think I probably could have shot the ATG if I was thinking about it. Where is that thing? Can I see it? I can. So I probably could have killed that. Maybe I do here. I don't remember. It's quite a long shot, but that's what I'm talking about. See how far away that thing is? Right at the edge of draw distance, and I can still see it. I can still highlight it. I can still shoot it. They do get the mouse killed off. And just watch what they do from there. I'm the only guy, me and the arty, are the only thing really keeping the cap sorted. We're okay. We actually evened up the... There we go. I do kill the ATG gun. But that's 2 shells, right? I've taken 2 shells at the ATG. Now we're going to bail out of this thing. Thought about taking a shot, but that would have required a little bit of waiting. And I will tell you that occasionally the AI makes some amazing snaps. So I want to minimize any return fire. And anyway, I'm going to come back this way. And there goes the push, right? They won the flank. They won the flank. Or what, our 277 died. And the T-57 keeps pushing into gun turrets and camping Badgers and whatever else. Got the 430 here. And I think you're getting the point here. It's just everyone is scattered, playing their best pub match and not really thinking about, you know, if we just all went one direction together, I'm not too worried about the mana core going. If the rest of them had all just gone together and jumped on the first 2 or 3 tanks they found, they could have created a massive advantage. And I think in this mode as the tankers, the best plan is to jump on the AI guys and shred them as fast as possible. Kill them off, and then when the... And I think somebody was complaining about me down there. And then when you kill the AI guys, get a couple, 3 of them out, then bail out of that. Quit pushing that flank, because that'll give the strategist time to kind of regroup. Plus the turrets and the MRLs and everything are going to start bombing you. And that's just an X factor. I mean, it's really like, if you're talking 2 turrets and 2 MRLs, which you can have, that's another 2 or 3 tanks. It's really 4 artillery on the board. And that's difficult to deal with. So I've got these guys coming back here. Unfortunately, the T-57 did not come back. He's still sitting around over there. And I don't know if he's trapped or what's going on with him. He might be actually shooting at the things that he can see. Right? The defensive structures. I'm going to get lucky here with this 430 in just a minute. He actually bounces me. Oh, ricochet. I get hit by the VZ, but he takes some shots. We're going to bail out of this. I think this is the AI. We'll fix that stun because there's just no reason. I'm trying to get away from this guy if I can. He's slow enough. Yeah, this is definitely the AI. A human player would have been turning his turret and his hull and probably hit me pretty easily. There's that bounce from the 430. I get lucky. So I've got a couple bounces, the 430 and the 430 and the ATG gun, which has kept me into it a bit. Kept me in it a bit. 57 still hasn't come back. IS-7's getting bombed. Head over this way. There's the 430U. IS-7 gets him dead. Okay, great. We're not in bad shape. I'm looking at this right now going, okay, if this T-57 gets back to us and we can get together with him and the IS-7 and me, I'll get some spotting. I'll try to get some track down one of their TDs. We'll try to take them piece by piece, right? So the IS-7 starts going that way. He's getting shot at. I see him moving this way. I'm like, fair enough. Let's go look at this flank over here. See what I can find. The gun turret's still taking damage. I guess the arty's bombing the gun turret. I don't know. I'm the guy who lit it. That's another thing that's weird. I lit it 42 years ago, but I still get the spotting damage on it. IS-7 says his ammo is fairly low. I'm with you. I only have 10 rounds. Come take a look over here. Here comes the IS-7. I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, I don't know why you're charging. All right, I'll come up here and maybe look for something to get a spot for you. Maybe he'll post up, right? Maybe he'll be smart and post up. Here comes the T-57. Can we get back together? That would be pretty cool. Take a quick look. Is the Foch there? Maybe we can sneak a shot on this guy. I don't know. No, don't see anything. Okay, IS-7. Uh-oh, IS-7, what are you doing, buddy? Oh, IS-7, buddy. IS-7. Eats 800 from the predictable camping TD watching a lane. And the T-57 says, well, if it's good enough for the IS-7 to die to, it's good enough for me. And there he goes. IS-7 YOLOs in and dies to a 110E3. Maybe he expected me to get in there. There's a couple flamethrowers. I wasn't going to survive in there. There's 2 gun turrets. There's a Badger probably moving that way at this point. The 57 just drives in. And he's not long for the world. He's got a couple turrets looking at him. Like I said, fellas, the one caveat I had about whether or not the humans would have a chance was that it is still the World of Tanks base players. That was a mistake as well. I should have left these alone. I take a shot there. I think I go look for another shot. And I'm thinking, let's soften these things up. But then I don't really realize at the moment that the T-57 is dead. I take a really stupid shot. There's 2 shells. 3 if you count the ones I took at the ATG guns. 4 actually. Then I find the Badger. It's probably the AI running around on this thing right now. Just really slow. I'm like, oh, here comes some turret shot. The long reload. Yep, boom. I get whacked for 400. Take him down and bail out. Alright, so that was a bit of luck. We do still have an artillery. I'm thinking about shooting him, but I'm looking at the shells going, yep, I wish I had those 4 shells back that I sort of wasted. Could have made a difference. We're going to find out why. I finally use my brain and go, you know what? I need to stop wasting shells on that thing. Yes, it would be nice to not have it bombing me, but there would still be another one even if I killed that one. And then we find the 110E3. So it's going to be up to me and the arty to get rid of 1900 damage, 1900 hit points off the 110E3. I figure I can probably come up over here. There's a good chunk. Alright, so we got 207 taken care of. And we'll run in here with my 6 rounds, see what we can do against this guy. He has no idea I'm coming, so I'll just kind of come up and behind him here. There we go. Track him, that's good. Trying to get out of here. Yep. I'm imagining the player may have jumped in there. Yeah, so he look. That's definitely the player now, because the AI wouldn't be so smart to kind of spin and look at you like that generally. Takes another 317 from the arty. That's very helpful. He looks tracked, or he's busy. Maybe he went to get the other tank moving. Got to cut back this way. This is dangerous. I'm going to have to come inside his turn circle. I've got to close the distance so that my line of sight is higher when I get closer. There we go. So I get inside his gun. That works. Put another shot on him. Probably should have waited right here. I wanted to stay close. I was worried he was going to get up against the train right there, and then he just gets too much angle right there. I'm just outside of being able to kill him. So we'll tuck up behind this building. He takes another hit from the arties down to 232. But I've only got 2 shells. There's a boom, boom. So I take another hit from the gun turret for 185. I feel like my camo's probably good enough to do this. And my speed will hopefully keep me alive if he doesn't see me. Alright, right here. I wish I had just gone around him really quickly and killed him, because what's going to happen is I give him too much time to close in on the arty. I kind of hide right here for stupid reasons. Then I type, hey, I have 2 shells, which who cares, just keep playing. And then I'm going to take a pretty wide line around here to try to get in behind him. So I don't cut across there. I actually go way further than I wanted to. Then when I come up on this ridge, I think he's behind the building right about now. Unfortunately, just bad timing. And then I go really wide right here, all the way to these bushes. So I had multiple opportunities to get on that ridge and find this guy sooner. Because what happens here is I'm going to find him, but I'm going to find him late, and he's going to have eyes on the artillery, and I need the artillery. There he is. He just got too deep. And if I'd have been in a better position, quicker, a little more aggressive, I may have still had my artillery. And that, so wasted shots on all of the defensive stuff there. A missed shot on a circle, screwing up right there. All that's going to lead to basically a loss is what we got going on here. The foes just have so many hit points. I have 1 shell. So unless I ammo rack him, it ain't going to work. And I also don't have any defenses. We're just going to speed this up. I come all the way here looking for the guy. There he is. I see him. Come over this way. Damage my own track like a muppet. And we're going to find him here. I'm going to get 1 more shot. It'll put me over 4,000 damage, 1,892 assist. Like, where did this guy go? How did he get away from me? Okay, there he is. He was down low. Had no line of sight on him. And he's making a runner. Put 1 more into him for 400, and we'll get on out of here, because that's all she wrote. So 2 kills, 43, 26, 1,892, and a draw, unfortunately. So some mistakes in there, some things to think about. Yes, it can be good to get rid of the defenses. No, it's probably not a great idea to waste your mana core shots on it. If you have a tank with more shells, then yeah, do that. Mana core is probably gimping your team just a little bit. Yes, it's a great scout. I don't know if it matters that much in this mode. I think a T100 is probably a better option in this mode. It can basically do what you need to be done as a scout. And I think probably overall it's better just to bring mediums and heavies. Assault TDs are okay. You see a lot of those being played, especially as strategists. People just do hard turtles. That's kind of a problem, especially when you're talking about double the defensive structures. We'll see how it goes later on in the mode if people start to learn how to do it. But players are generally bad at breaking camps, especially random players thrown together in pubs. They're extremely bad at it. Nobody wants to go first. Nobody wants to get together and do the push and take the hits and get in there. They all want to play this peeky pokey thing, and that runs right into the advantage for the strategist, because he's busy trying to manage a lot of different things at once and different flanks. So if you're peeky pokey and you allow the AI to play that game a little bit, which it's better at that than a rush Zerg assault, really, at the end of the day, you're playing into the advantage of the defensive player, the strategist, because he's also got MRLs and turrets. And if you think you're going to, outfox them and sneak into the cap and steal a cap, well, there's a bazillion flamethrowers and things back there too. So it ain't easy, friends. It ain't easy. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be. I think by the end of the event, the players are going to get better, but right now it's horrible. It's horrible. All right, that's all I've got for today. You guys have a good rest of your Wednesday. We will see you. Let me know what you think down below.